My wife looked me dead in the eyes and said something no husband should ever hear. And that's when everything became clear.
My name is Ethan. I'm 34 years old, and for 9 years, I believe my marriage to Lily was steady. It wasn't perfect, but it was warm, familiar, and safe. We had built a life around comfort, a small house, a sleepy dog named Milo, and routines that just worked. It was the kind of life that feels solid, right up until the ground gives out from under you. I remember that night vividly. I came home completely exhausted from work. My shoulders ached, my mind felt heavy, but I walked through the door with this small flicker of hope. I was hoping maybe Lily and I could reconnect, even for a moment. I was expecting a smile, maybe a quick kiss on the forehead, or even just a simple, "Hey babe." Instead, I found her curled up on the couch, her face illuminated by the glow of her phone, her legs tucked neatly under her. She didn't look at me properly, not even once. I tried to soften my voice to bridge the distance that was already between us. "How was your day?" I asked. She didn't sigh, she didn't blink, she didn't even pretend to care. Without lifting her gaze from her screen, she said it. "Close legs for you, Ethan. 3 words, 3 bullets." Fired like it was some kind of joke, but clearly meant to embarrass and wound me. Time just stalled. My stomach dropped into a pit. Something inside of me cracked, but it was so quiet it almost sounded like nothing at all. I just stood there staring at her, not because I didn't understand, I understood all too well. Those kinds of phrases don't just slip out accidentally. They come from a place of contempt, of disgust. They come from a heart that's already walked out the door, even if the body is still sitting on the couch. But I didn't yell. I didn't slam anything. I didn't demand to know who she thought she was. Instead, I let the silence spread between us, still, calm, and suffocating. She smirked, clearly thinking she had control of the situation, thinking she'd finally wounded me enough to get the reaction she wanted, but she didn't know me anymore. Not really. I walked over and sat down across from her, not close. Not in a pleading way, just steady. "I hear you," I said. Her smirk faltered almost instantly. "You hear me?" she repeated, confused. "Yes," I replied, loud and clear. Her eyebrows lifted. She was expecting rage. She was expecting desperate questions. She was probably expecting me to scramble for her affection, to try and win her back. Instead, she got a man who had finally run out of illusions. "I hear," I said quietly, "that you don't want me anymore. I hear that my presence irritates you. I hear that you'd rather hurt me than talk to me." Her confidence dropped by a tiny degree so small most people probably wouldn't have noticed it. But after 9 years together, I saw every fracture, every tiny crack in her facade. The truth was simple. Lily wasn't trying to joke. She was trying to push me away. But the moment she said those words, something completely unexpected happened inside me. It wasn't heartbreak. It was clarity. The kind of sharp, cold clarity that doesn't come from anger, but from finally seeing what you've been blind to for years. For months, Lily had been drifting away. It started with small things, pulling away when I sat next to her on the couch, dodging my touch when I reached for her, looking utterly bored whenever I spoke. Every time I reached for her hand, her other hand would immediately find her phone. I tried everything to fix it. I made breakfasts in bed, left little notes in her laptop bag, planned spontaneous date nights. I know I wasn't a perfect husband, but I showed up. I kept trying again and again, but she just stopped meeting me halfway. And that night, after her words cut the very last thread holding us together, I finally understood. You can fix a connection with someone who has already unplugged themselves. Lily kept her arms crossed, her eyes narrowed slightly, like she couldn't decide whether to double down on her cruelty or retreat. "What are you trying to say?" she asked, a defensive edge to her voice. "That I've been giving everything I have to someone who doesn't want it," I said calmly. "And that's not love anymore." That's just desperation. Her jaw tightened. For 9 years, she had gotten used to me being the one to hold on, the one to apologize first, the one to smooth things over after every argument. My calm wasn't weakness, it was restraint. I was holding back my frustration for the sake of our marriage, but that night, I wasn't restraining anything anymore. I was just done. She cleared her throat a little nervously. So what? You're just giving up? No, I said, looking her straight in the eye. I'm accepting reality. The silence returned, but this time it was heavier, more final. Lily crossed her legs defensively. It was almost ironic, considering her earlier words. You think I don't care? She asked, but her voice wavered, losing its confident bite. I think you stopped caring long before tonight, I told her. And I think I've been blind to it because I wanted so badly for us to be okay. I watched her carefully, the tiny twitch in her cheek, the flicker of her eyes as she looked away. For the first time in months, she looked unsure of herself. And that's when it hit me. All this time, she had expected me to break. She had been pushing my buttons, waiting for me to fall apart. But she never expected me to wake up instead. I stood up, calmly, slowly, with a newfound certainty in my movements. I'm not angry, I told her, and it was the absolute truth. I'm not even hurt anymore. I'm just done trying to hold on to someone who dosed to treat me with basic respect. Her lips parted, but no words came out, because she knew. Maybe she'd known for a long time that this was coming. She knew that this version of me was different. I wasn't begging. I wasn't fighting for her. I wasn't pleading for scraps of affection from her table. For the first time, I was choosing myself, and that terrified her more than anything else I could have possibly said or done. Because losing a man who pleads is a victory. Losing a man who has found his self-worth is a mirror to your own failure. And in that moment, she was finally forced to look in it. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever felt this way, remember that your peace and self-respect are worth fighting for. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories about finding strength in difficult times.